This man is not one of us, but that didn't stop him from slaughtering us. That's just some of the many strong words directed to the Christchurch mosque gunman today. It's the second day of sentencing for Brenton Tarrant, who's pleaded guilty to 51 charges of murder, 40 charges of attempted murder, one of engaging in a terrorist act. Our reporter Logan was at the High Court in Christchurch, and just a warning, his story does contain detail that some may find distressing.
People were calling me, because I was from Afghanistan, they were calling me as a fan or joke or intentionally a terrorist. But you took that name from me. Today you are called terrorist, and you proved that to the world that I was not, and us as a Muslim were not terrorists. I say to the people of New Zealand that...
That's Mirwais Wazidi being loudly applauded as he spoke directly to Tarrant, disregarding his prepared victim impact statement. He was shot in the neck at Al Noor Mosque and was one of more than 24 victims who spoke to the court today. Many detailed the harrowing experience of being inside the Al Noor and Linwood mosques on March 15 last year. Others who spoke were family who have spent the last year and a half grappling with the devastating loss of a loved one. Linda Armstrong was inside the Linwood Mosque at the time of the attacks. The gunman turned to his left when he entered the building and shot her twice. Today the court heard from her daughter Angela Armstrong and nephew Kyron Goss. Ms Armstrong says she has been robbed of the chance to say goodbye and to hold her mother's hands for her final breath. Mr Goss described how angry he was when he found out what's happened.
I want you to understand the utter gut-wrenching horror I felt upon learning that this grotesque attack had happened on New Zealand soil. I want you to know the dread I felt in my gut as I drove by the train station to see roads blocked off by police armed to the hilt with military-style automatic weapons on high alert. I also want you to understand my utter rage upon learning that this man was a guest to New Zealand. This man is not one of us, but that didn't stop him from slaughtering us.
More chilling details from people caught inside the mosques on March 15 also emerged. Ibrahim Abdul Haleem was leading Friday prayers in the Linwood Mosque when he heard loud sounds outside.
I remember the horror of seeing the defendant in the second part of the prayer standing in the entrance to the mosque, and I saw people falling down at the sound of what I know now to be gunfire.
Mr Abdul Haleem and his son Mustafa Abdul Haleem, who was in the congregation, were physically unharmed, but his wife, Salwa El Shazeli, was shot in the arm. She was in a partitioned women's area with 2 others. One of those was Linda Armstrong. Through a support person, she told the court she saw her friend Linda shot by the gunman before Tarrant pointed the gun at her.
I tried to help my friend to pull her back, and as I touched her, the defendant shot at her again and me. The shot went through my right underarm and fortunately back out again.
One of the youngest victims of the attacks was 14-year-old Syed Milne, a student at Kashmir High School. His mother, Noraini Milne, had these strong words for Tarrant.
You are a person who needs help and guidance. You choose to perform a despicable and cowardly act. My son now leaves this temporary world as a martyr, God willing.
Rashed Ahmed lost his son Tariq at Al Noor Mosque. He described to the court how desperate he was to find his son on March 15.
We talked to the media and were on the news as we were hoping that Tariq would see us and that he would contact us. I was desperately hoping that he was alive.
Eventually, the list of dead was read out by the imam and the police. Tariq's name was on it.
As a dad, I am supposed to be strong for my family, and as a dad, be invincible in our children's eyes. I couldn't hold my emotion together to be strong for my family because I was hurting so much inside to hear that I had lost my baby Tariq this day.
He says despite his son's death, Tariq lives on in their memories. Tariq's mother, Rosemary, says she struggles with daily tasks now and says it feels like she is broken.
Whatever gave the offender the right to take Tarrant's life away from me forever, this monster had no right to take my son from me. I have a life sentence now and will forever feel my loss.
The court also heard from Umer Naim today, the wife of Naim Rashed and mother of Talha Naim. Both died at Al Noor Mosque. Naim Rashed ran into the gunman in Al Noor Mosque before Tarrant swung a gun around and shot Rashed at point-blank range 4 times. His actions allowed some people to escape. Ms Naim described dealing with the loss of her husband and son as a lifetime struggle and wants ongoing punishment for Tarrant. She says she is still scared of even going out for a walk for fear that his actions have inspired others to do the same. The sentencing continues. For Checkpoint, Logan Church.